Have you been experiencing life the way you truly want to? What about your social life? Have you been going out and meeting people and speaking with people and laughing and sharing stories and jokes the way you like to do? Have you been communicating with family members as often as you'd like to? Having those deep conversations that you've always wanted to have, that you've missed out on? What about your professional life? Have you been speaking up in meetings, giving your input and feedback? Have you been applying for those jobs that you know you're qualified for? Or have you been avoiding those jobs because you know it's going to require you to speak up and speak out and give presentations and lead meetings, and you're not quite sure if you'll be able to do that at the level that you know you're going to be required to do it at? Perhaps you've been avoiding social situations because you're not quite sure if you're going to be able to speak up and speak out and say the things that you really want to say, or tell those jokes or tell those stories. And so you've just kind of been avoiding it, being quiet, being more reserved, staying in when you really want to get out. If this has been true for you, and if it's been because of your speech, then I'd like for you to watch this video. My name is Michael Williams, founder and speech coach of Pro90D. And today we're going to continue our series, and we have one more video left after this, but we're going to continue our series talking about how you can improve your speech in as little as 15 minutes a day. Now, that doesn't mean that 15 minutes a day and that's it and you're done. It just means you can start out as little as 15 minutes a day, and I'm going to walk you through that blueprint in the next video. But in this video, we're going to continue with our series where we're using an acronym, and we say that Pro90D makes you what? Smile. When you're speaking well, you feel comfortable, you feel calm, you feel confident, you're speaking smoothly. Not only will you smile, but other people will smile when you're speaking with them, when you're speaking to them. People will enjoy speaking with you, and they'll enjoy speaking to you. And you'll enjoy speaking. You'll enjoy talking. You'll enjoy conversing. You'll enjoy teaching or training or whatever it is that you do. So we walk through all of these, how Pro90D improves your speech, it improves your mindset, and improves your identity, how you see yourself, and improves your livelihood and lifestyle. And now today, we're going to talk about how Pro90D improves your what? Your experiences. Really, it's your life experiences. So we're really talking about everything that you do. So we mentioned a little earlier about, have you been doing the things that you want to do socially? Have you been doing the things that you wanted to do personally and professionally, educationally, and so forth and so on? And if you haven't, and it's been because of your speech, I want you to know that you're not stuck. So some people think that they are stuck where they are. They're limited. Maybe they've tried things before, or maybe they didn't know that there was something out there that could help them actually transform the way that they speak, the way that they see themselves, the way that they feel, the way that they communicate and connect with other people. I want you to know that there is something out there, and it's called Pro90D. And we can help you transform your speech and transform your life. Now, I'm not just saying this, but there's thousands of other people out there that you can go out and check the internet. You don't just have to check my website. You can check the internet. I don't control the internet, right? And search Pro90D, search Michael Williams Speech Coach, Pro90D Speech System, and see what you find. And the vast majority of information that you find will be like, wow, this, it's hard work. You got to do some, you got to put in the work and time, but this will transform your speech. This will help you be more confident. This will help you speak better. This will help you get those better jobs that you're looking for. This will help you participate in those social conversations. I had someone tell me recently that because they've improved their speech, they're actually having better, longer, deeper conversations with their family members, their father, their mother, right? This particular person told me he was having better conversations, deeper conversations with his mother. Now, he's not the first one. I've had probably hundreds of people tell me. I had one guy tell me that he would barely talk to his father because of his speech, that they just weren't able to communicate well, and that finally, for the first time, he was able to hold and have a conversation with his father. Now, imagine that kind of brought tears to my eyes. If you think about this guy was probably in his, early 30s or something. So you're talking 30 years, right? So this can change your life. This can help you have a better quality of life. So when you look at all of your experiences, what I want you to do is to kind of see where you are right now. So look, and we're just going to look at a few, like we're not going to look at all of them, obviously, but let's look at your social life, at your professional life, and personal life probably could fall under social, but we're just going to put that down too. Okay. Let's just look at where you're at in these areas. So when we talk about social life, we're talking about your willingness and your ability to go out and to meet people, or to go out and hang out with friends, and in many cases family, and to smile and laugh and feel comfortable, telling them about your day, asking them questions, having a discussion, having an argument, defending your point, defending yourself if you need to, right? Sharing your thoughts, sharing your opinions, getting excited about something and still be able to clearly articulate your thoughts. Have you been able to do that, or have you kind of been avoiding that? So think about that. I've talked to some people that say, I'm really an outgoing person. I really would like to get out and talk to more people and meet people and go out and do stuff, but I don't because of my speech. Is that you? Is that you? Or do you go out, but you just feel limited, so you kind of avoid certain things like introducing yourself or participating in conversations? Sometimes there's so much pressure and stress, people avoid those social situations because they don't want someone to ask them a question, or they don't want to have to give their input or something like that. So where are you at in your social experiences? If it's not where you want to be, we're going to talk about how to get you there. What about your professional life? So you're in meetings, you're on Zoom calls, you're talking with your supervisor, your manager, those who are in authority. You're talking with your colleagues. You're talking with your customers or your clients. Are you able to smoothly, to clearly, to calmly, to confidently articulate, put forth your thoughts, to share your message, whatever it is that you want to say? Do you feel confident to do that, or have you been holding back, right? Because if you've been holding back, then what's happening is you probably start to feel bad about yourself. Maybe your self-image or your self-esteem or self-confidence isn't as high as it could be because you know you have more to give, but your speech has been limiting you. So your professional life or your professional experiences are not where you'd like for them to be. They're not as fulfilling as they could be. I want you to think about the jobs, the careers, the advancement opportunities that are before you, or that have been before you, that you've turned away, or that you've avoided, or that you've put on hold because of your speech. Okay? Plenty of people where that maybe you've lost. I've talked to people recently who've had interviews, and they didn't pass their interviews because when they were in the interview, they started talking real fast. They got kind of anxious and nervous. They lost their train of thought. They just were not able to articulate, to really share the knowledge, right, and the expertise that they actually possess. So is this you? And then let's look at just your personal life. So when I say personal, we're going to define that as your intrapersonal life. That's what's going on inside of you. So I've talked to people who say, I just feel bad when I'm not able to say the things I want to say, or I feel embarrassed when I get stuck and when I stumble. It just feels bad. So the self-esteem kind of drops down a little bit. Their mind gets cloudy. They're not sure if they're capable or if they are explaining the things that they want to explain, if they're not saying what they want to say the way that they want to say it, right? And so they don't feel as good about themselves as they'd like to. Is this where you are experientially? Well, Pro90D can help you. So you're probably wondering, well, how can Pro90D improve my experiences? Well, as we talked about before, you have a daily list, if you will, a daily list of activities. There are daily activities that Pro90D gives you. And when you engage in these activities every day, things like affirmations, visualization, and modeling practice, and self-talk, and all those things, when you engage in them on a daily basis, and audio listening, video watching, what's happening is the process is changing the way you think, right? The way you think about yourself. You start to see the possibilities. You start to feel more hopeful. Wow, if someone else did this, right, and they were where I am, or they were worse off, and they were able to do this, then maybe I can do it. So you start to see hope. You start to feel more hopeful. You look at the science. You start to understand the science that, hey, if I want to change the way that I think, the way that I feel, the way that I speak, whether I stutter or stammer or speak too fast or whatever it is, that my brain is capable of changing because of what we call neuroplasticity. That no matter how old I am, my brain is capable of changing, of creating new connections, new neural pathways, or strengthening old ones, or rewiring itself, so that I can actually learn new skills and develop new habits, new ways of thinking, new ways of behaving, new ways of speaking. Does this make sense? So once you understand that this is possible for you, then you begin to have more confidence. You begin to believe, wow, this is possible, so then maybe I can actually do this. So then what the system does is through modeling practice, visualization, verbalization, free flow speaking, and all the exercises that are involved in Pro90D, you begin to see yourself, you begin to experience yourself speaking smoother, right? Feeling a little calmer, being able to articulate your thoughts more clearly, using the ultimate presentation system that's contained in the program. You're given a structure that you can use to explain yourself, not necessarily in a full-blown presentation like I'm doing now, but in a one-on-one conversation with someone. This structure, this framework allows you to more clearly and smoothly translate what you're thinking into words that the person understands, into a structure that the person can follow and understand. So this works for interviews, this works for conversations, it works for meetings, it works if someone asks you a question, whether it's a question on the spot and you haven't rehearsed for it, the structure helps you do that. Pro90D helps you do that so that you start to feel more confident. You start to actually experience yourself speaking more smoothly, speaking more clearly. Maybe you speak too fast. Maybe you have an accent. Maybe you stumble over your words. Well, the process that we use in the system, the things that you listen to, the practices that you engage in, the modeling practice, the articulation, the free flow, all those things help you transform, change the way you speak. Does this make sense? So if you practice these things every day, even if it's for a little bit, even if it's for a few minutes to start off with, your brain begins to make those changes, right? The neurons that are responsible for those skills, for those habits, begin to fire together. And the more they fire together, which means the more you try, the more you practice them, the more they fire together, the more they wire together. And when they wire together, that means that you're now developing efficiency and proficiency and automaticity, so that you can perform this behavior, these new thoughts, new way of thinking, new ways of feeling, new ways of behaving, acting, speaking. You can perform them more easily and more naturally, where it gets to the place where you're not thinking about it, you're just doing it, right? But it doesn't start out that way. It's hard. You're going to feel resistance when you start. You're not going to want to do it. It's not going to work most of the time. But you keep doing it. You follow the system, and eventually it starts to click and you start to do it. So what we do is, through all of the different aspects of our daily routine, the audios, the videos, the whole program, the whole system, you begin to transform your very experiences, the things that you actually see and feel yourself doing. And once you can see yourself and feel yourself breathing better, breathing more, and speaking smoother, it's not perfect yet, right? It's not perfect, but you see yourself doing it, then your confidence goes up. Why does your confidence go up? It goes up because your brain says, I just saw myself, I just experienced myself speaking smoother. So if I can do it then I can do it again, right? And if you keep doing it every day, then your brain says, yes, we like this. We like the way this feels. We like the way this sounds. We like the way this looks. We want to keep doing this. So we want to go ahead and create this network, right? We want to create this network to make this easier for us to do, right? To make this so much more efficient for us to do. So we don't have to work so hard to get ourselves to breathe, to speak, to calm down, to clearly articulate, to be confident. We want to do this naturally. So the more that you do it, the easier it becomes. Does this make sense? Right? It's just the way our brains work. So Pro 90D helps you change your life experiences, change the way you experience life. All right? It changes the way you experience life so that you have a higher quality life, and so that you're able to go out and experience socially the things that you want to experience, to relate with people the way you want to, as often as you'd like to be able to do the job that you want to do, apply for the jobs that you want to apply for, start the businesses that you want to start, get the accounts and the sales that you want to get, right? It helps you to feel better about yourself, to get out of your own head, to connect with other people, to be more present for other people, to be calmer, to create an aura about yourself that people are drawn into. So here's an example. I talk with my clients about this often. You've probably been around people who are just high energy. Sometimes they're high stress. They're speaking real fast. They're moving, right? They're just boom. And often you'll feel yourself wanting to act like that, wanting to speak really fast when you're around them, wanting to just act kind of frantic. But what happens is, when you go through Pro 90D, you create your own aura that has a gravity of its own, that pulls people into your calmness, into your clarity, into your smoothness, into your confidence, right? And so that people will begin to notice, wow, when I'm around you, I feel calmer. When they're around you, they'll speak a bit slower as opposed to wanting to speed up. So Pro 90D helps you create your own aura, which has a gravity that pulls other people in. This is not something I'm making up. Not only has it and does it happen to me often, people will actually tell me, just random people, but also it happens to my clients. And it's been happening for decades. And clients have been telling me, wow, this person said this to me, or this person came up to me and they said, wow, you know what, when I'm around you, I really feel like this, or I've seen this, this kind of a difference. So when you go through Pro 90D, it changes the way you experience life. And it allows you, it gives you the ability to serve other people at a much higher level and impact their life. So when you transform your speech, when you transform your mindset and your identity and your livelihood, like what you actually do and your lifestyle and your experiences, what you're also doing is equipping yourself to be able to go out and touch the lives of other people, serve your company, serve your community, serve the world at a much, much higher level, at a much, much deeper level, because you feel free and you feel more capable. Does this make sense? So I want you to think about this, go back over these videos, right, the series, and then ask yourself, what am I willing to do? Because you can watch these videos and they can make you feel good, but that's not going to really help in the long term. What's going to help is that you take action. And so there's basically two actions that I'd like for you to consider. One is some of you will want to start out with our self-study. So do the self-study. It's a relatively small investment, and it will get you started, right? And some of you, that will be all that you need is the self-study. Others of you will want and need to work with me one-on-one, because you're going to need that accountability that will help you be more consistent, which is very important for changing the brain. It's consistency. Some of you will need that evaluation and feedback, someone to tell you what you don't know, what you couldn't know, what you can't see. So you need that evaluation and feedback. You need that accountability and consistency. Some of you will need to work with me so that you stay encouraged and you continue to stay on track until you reach the goals that you want to reach. We call that a container. So the coaching puts you in a container. Now you still have to do the work, but you're in a container, and you stay in that container to get you to a certain place. So working with me one-on-one helps you do that. Again, you still have to do the work, but the coaching accelerates the process and it makes it easier. So when you work with me one-on-one, you can get to where you want to get faster and so much easier, which saves you time and it saves you money. I have a client who's made, gosh, I don't know, I think it might be $5,000 more a year or more, right? I don't remember what the number was, but I think I mentioned it in another video, but I think it might have been something like $5,000, and it could have been more. But that's just one promotion this year. So he's already paid back what he paid for coaching and had some left over. But now it's enhanced his career capabilities and the income that he's capable of making, that he will make next year and the year after and the year after. So you want to look at this like an investment. It's not a cost, it's an investment. The only question is, will this work? Am I confident that this will work? And that's what I've tried to do in this series, is to give you everything I could so that you would be almost completely confident that, you know what, if anything's going to work, this will work. The only question is, will you do the work, right? And so we've created a way for you to actually break this down and start out. Now listen to what I'm saying. Start out with as little as 15 minutes a day, just to create the habit of going through the daily routine. Now, do you want to stay at 15 minutes a day? Absolutely not. But can you start with 15 minutes a day? Absolutely. Anyone can do that. You start with 15 minutes and then you work your way up as you start to feel more excited, as you start to create the habit, you start to see some results. So in the next video, I'm going to walk you through this 15-minute blueprint and how you can use Pro 90D to do that. So I want to challenge you, take action now. Work with me one-on-one, or at least start with the self-study now. The longer you wait, the harder it gets. The harder it gets to change, because you get into a pattern of being. You start arranging your life around your speech, and it gets really hard to break out of that. The longer you stay this way, the more you believe this is who you are and this is how it is. So it doesn't mean that later you can't do it. It just means it's harder than if you do it now. If you do it now, if you do it today, it's a little bit easier than if you do it tomorrow or next week or the week after. Okay, trust me. So do it now. Don't wait until later. The time is going to pass anyway. And the longer you take to take action, the more opportunities you miss out on. Some people have told me, man, I wish I had found you when I was younger. I wish I had found you years ago. I would have been so much further ahead, or life would have been so much easier, so much more fulfilling. That's okay. You found me now. You're watching this video. Take action now. Your future self, as someone once said, will thank you for it. You'll go, wow, I'm so glad I did that. I have this job. I'm doing this. I'm helping people. My relationships are better. I feel better about myself. And it's not even about your speech being perfect. My speech isn't perfect. No one's speech is perfect 100% of the time. But you'll be at a whole nother level where your speech will be quite excellent, right? If you do the work, you will be able to influence and persuade others. You will be capable of earning much more than you are right now, because you'll have the communication skills, the communication capabilities that you don't have now, but that you need to get to that level. So thanks so much for watching this video. Look forward to seeing you the next time.